Oh, what's up, everybody? It's CJ. I am back live. It's been a minute, but I've been having like a very special time. We'll talk about that later. Last I've been celebrating my anniversary, and I also celebrated 49 years on the planet, and we'll talk about why that's so special in a minute because it's one more year to 50. But today I've been on a health kick. Notice my last few shows I've been preaching about health and on the holistic tip. Well, guess what? This time I brought my hearts. I brought my fellow trainers to help. You know how I always bring the back up. It's the holiday season, y'all, and we're getting ready to eat. And if I can provide you with a healthy intervention before we get started, well, you know it's going to be on and cracking. Guys, this is Mentorship Moments. Each one teach one. Brought the backup. We are the village. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Sometimes you just gotta make it happen. Gonna make it happen. Gonna make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Mentorship Moments. Each one teach one. Man, guys, I have a great show for you. And POTUS, make sure I'm looking at the right angle. I'm supposed to be looking at this camera, right? Okay, because I always get it wrong. I'm not a vain person, but I always have a habit of looking at myself while I'm shadow boxing. So if I look over here, sorry, I apologize. I'm right here looking at the fam. Welcome, my YouTube subscribers. You guys are awesome. I have the Urban Spinster, the CEO, Sadia Sanders of the Urban Spinster, checking the YouTube. She'll hit me up if I have questions on YouTube. Of course, I'll be checking questions on Facebook Live. I'm excited to have you. Man, our guest today, I want to intervene. I want to intervene before it gets bad on the holidays. I don't want y'all running to your trainer in the gym saying, oh, I messed up over the holidays. Nah, man, I want to inspire you. I brought backup to keep you motivated on point during the holidays. Hey, I want you to enjoy yourself, man. But man, I want you to come back ready to fight the battle of life again at January 1. You know what I'm saying? And I brought the backup, and we will get into that just a second. Man, I have got a lot of shout outs. Again, I told you, I turned 49 on Sunday. And the only way you know is all these Papa Smurf grays. And I'll tell you about that legend in a second. Now, my fellow guests, they have the hair that I want. So since they have it on their head, I'll just have it on the beard. I'm going to call these dread beards, all right? All right. But before we get into that, again, and this all relates also with diabetes, prevention of heart disease. And I think the holistic approach is a preventative way to go. But you know what? Let's get into our sponsor. My sponsor, Yolitas Carter, she is the bomb.com. I don't know why she don't even pronounce her middle name. It's up there, but it sounds so good. But I'll just say it the way you want it because you're my sponsor, Yolitas Carter. Check it out. She is with Mutual Realty Consultants, probate trust and real estate specialist. She is a five-star agent. Hey, bomb.com. Listen, let me tell you, this lady, I cannot wait to do business with her. We already got a mini project going along. Every time I go to her Facebook page, something's sold, something's being accomplished, his contract's being negotiated, balling, shot calling, and that's who I roll with. I only roll with the best. I only have sponsorship with the best. You know where to go. Mutual Realty Consultants. I'm still working on that jingle, Yolitas. I can't wait. All right, hey, look her up on Facebook, Mutual Realty Consultants. Before I continue, I want you guys to remember a number. And don't you laugh at me now. Do not laugh at me. I'm putting on my glasses, guys. I'm putting on my glasses. I have no more shame. If you want to call in, now listen, if you have issues with your health, and we brought the trainers, we brought the people you go to that get you in shape, call in at 323-815-4204. That's 323-815-4204. It doesn't hurt to have dirty glasses. It's just as bad as if I wasn't looking at it anyway. But this guy knows me, man. I'm quirky, I'm a nerd. All right, listen, I still promote the Black Health Trust. This every Sunday, you have doctors, real doctors, giving up real health information. So you know how sometimes you go to the doctors and you feel like your doctor doesn't care locally? Well, listen, the Black Health Trust, I was a part of it a while ago. I keep mentioning it because I'm very proud. Had a couple of guests from the Black Health Trust on my show. Amazing. You get the truth. Every Sunday they have a new show. They've been dealing with COVID, but now they're dealing with other situations involving the health community. You can ask questions. It's real advice from real doctors that you can relate to, okay? It's us. Learn from us, all right? Why run from that, all right? Oh, listen, if you like the show, I'm not the church that asked for $500,000, but should you give $500,000? I'll take it. I will take it and run with it. But if you like the show, you can Venmo me at CJ Functional. That's at CJ Functional. If you like the show and you guys are Cash App people, you can hit me up at Cash App $CJ Functional. All right, now I'm moving on, guys. I know my guests are foaming at the mouth. I know they're ready. One guy's ready to choke me out or squat me to death. All right, he might just beat me at my age, right? But I got to get these birthday shout-outs out, right? Listen, I want you to look at this photo. It's just me and my brother. Shouts out to my brother, Dion Joseph. Now, listen, if you can guess, now it's either the right or the left. If you can guess which one is Cleon or Dion, all right, right or left, you guess and you call in, I got a special surprise for you. Hey, you get a free fitness session on CJ. Now, that big guy in the middle, rest in peace, Troy Joseph. I'm going to miss you. November 18th, that's his birthday. Dion, November 14th with me. Guess which one is which? If you know us, which one is which? Which one is Cleon? Which one is Dion? Which one is CJ? Which one is DJ? All right, good. All right. Next up, other birthday shout outs. Miss Diana Red. Man, you are amazing. I love your professionalism. Love your trainer. I see Henry nodding his head. We know Diana and we love her. Happy birthday. Brother Kelvin Gamble, amazing brother. Just finished a Gracie survival training course last week. It is Henner Gracie, his birthday. Happy birthday. You had a birthday this month. Coach Eric Knowles, my brother Eric, still love you, my man. We're standing on your shoulders. Johnny Drubber, Damian Harris, Brian Butler, I got you. Black Santa, I can't wait to have him on the show. And special memoriam, I already showed my brother Troy. Special memoriam, November 15th, the day after my birthday, this special lady passed away. And this was my mother, Margie Louise Joseph. Man, I miss you. I don't miss you in the way I need you in the present. I know you're in the resting loving arms of the eternal God. So I am cool on that. I just miss what you instilled in me, Mom. I love you. And this was November 15th was the day you passed. And it means a lot. Every November 15th, something special happens to me. And I'll share that with you guys later. I had an excellent seminar. Shouts out to Mr. John Romero. Thank you. We'll talk about that later. And you know what? The last shout out goes to, I'm excited. My heart's racing. Goes to this woman right here. And she's not here today in the studio because she's out being the volleyball mom. But my wife, Eva Joseph, happy 24th anniversary. You know how, now it took a lot, yes, cats, Otis, yes, give yes, hands, 24 years together, right? If you hear the meowing, that's the cats giving applause. Right, that's the cats, right? 24 years together. She stole me for 31 years of my life, met me when I was 17, held me out, because she didn't want to go to jail, all right? And grew me up, I ain't gonna lie. And she's the reason why I'm doing the things I'm doing. She's the reason for my success. Man, Eva Joseph, I love you. Two beautiful kids, Miss Cheyenne and Miss Zaire, braids and things, kicking butt. That is awesome. Listen, before we introduce our guest, we're going to go to a real quick commercial break. And then we're going to get, this is holistic health, guys. Now, if you wrote this, if you didn't write the number down, you get a chance to write it again. This is without the glasses, 323-815-4204. That's pretty good. My eyes, Lord help me. I'm healing. Eyes getting better. When we come back from the commercial break, it's on and cracking. Have your questions ready. We have the trainers, holistic training. We have the answers. Take advantage of it because it's today, it's free 99. We'll be back. Plus tax. What did you say? Plus tax.
In life, we all have opponents to prepare for. But you don't have to be a fighting champion to defeat your current condition. You don't need to be the ultimate anything to tap out the stressors in life. But what if I told you that mastering your physical well-being, like a fighter, directly relates to mastering the obstacles in your daily life. The only challenger that awaits you is yourself. Do you accept your challenge? I'm CJ, and this is CJ's Functional Fitness, where you don't have to be a fighter to feel like one. So let's train.
Wow, man, we were just talking, that commercial still hits right. You know, you talk about when you make a healthy investment in yourself. This is mentorship moments for you entrepreneurs. You gotta, it takes money to make money. You gotta be willing to shake it off, take some loss to gain. And I'm so proud of that commercial, man. It's like thousands of hits on YouTube, just the quality. But guess what? Your trainer is quality. And you know why else he's quality? Is the people that he hangs with. You know, I don't run in front of other trainers that are just as good as me. I keep them right here online with me, because when I don't have the answer, I always bring the backup. That's what I'm known for, guys. All right, so without further ado, I'm going off the dome because I can't find the email, but I know these guys, right? So let's see if I do you guys justice. First of all, I met, and Henry, he can tell you more about his personal journey, because I want to talk about superhero origins. Henry Chukwurah, we call him Mr. Fit Dreams, and he's also the CEO of Taste of Heaven, man. This brother's amazing, man. I met him, I want to say in maybe 2008, 2009, maybe somewhere around that time. And he was a trainer at the YMCA. He did the 24-hour fitness circuit, if I recall right. But he came in on the endorsement of our friend John Crosby, who we'll have on the show. What an inspirational story he is. What's up, John Crosby? I think you're a November baby too, I believe. I'm not sure, but happy birthday to you if I missed it. And, you know, he walked into, this is my version, you know, he walked into my studio, and within about a month, something was changing about him. You know, he was walking in with coconuts in his hands, you know, and he had walking in with coconut and straw. And me and Kelvin K Flash was like, man, what's this guy think he is? What elevating? He's all drinking water. I mean, it was just like on like hippie stuff right there, you know. But the thing was, I noticed a dramatic weight loss. I noticed him getting cut and ripped. But one thing I also noticed, that his clients he was saving lives. I watched him bring a woman in her 80s from her 80s, guys, from morbid obesity to running sprints. It blew me away, and I said, you know, I'm so glad this brother joined in. Henry Chukwurah, Mr. Fit Dreams, I see you giving each other dap. You know, everybody's like, you know, yes, I'm super proud. And what I'm most proud of is this man when I asked him to help me with my community campaign, the Fitness Syndicate of Obesity, I didn't even finish my sentence. He just said yes. And he was one of the key components in helping our clients lose tons of weight. We've done about 4 campaigns together, and we've helped hundreds of lives immediately, but we've helped thousands by creating disciples for fitness with the program. And one day I'll show you the video of Battle of the Beaujolais. I'll show you how to get to that, and you'll see Henry's segment. Amazing. Mr. Fit Dreams, Henry Chukwurah. All right. My next guest, I have been following this brother. I've been dying to get him on the show for this format when I was on the Holistic Kick, Mr. Marcus Cargill of Cargill Fitness. This brother right here, I call him the peace coach, man, because when I said hippie early, but this man typifies. And when I say hippie, I mean free-spirited, a brother that's in control of his own atmosphere. I tell you, there are some days, I was just telling him, that I'll see him walking down the street in the community, and I want to honk my horn, but I don't, because I don't want to disturb his peace. It's like he's sleeping while he's walking with a smile on his face. His Instagram videos are not just about working out. He's killing it out there on the outside boot camps. But it's that spiritual message that's growing his clientele. It's a spiritual message that is just taking over the Southland. And I think he is one of the legends of the fitness game right now. And legend not meaning past tense, I mean current. I think these two, along with myself, we're the Jay-Z's. We're relevant. We ain't dead yet. We're relevant, and we're killing it. Together, they have a program called the Holistic Experience. And they have a public speaking event that I am honored to have these guys come to my gym and run once a month. And it is back now that COVID things are opening up. And I just want you to get to know these brothers for yourself. I want you to ask questions if you're having health concerns. Again, I don't have all the answers, so that's why I bring it back. We all fill each other's potholes. That's the way I look at it, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing, with no further ado, I know I'm killing these guys, Marcus and Henry. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Now, did I do you guys okay?
That was beautiful.
Woo, good.
Brought a tear to my eye.
Let me tell you, Henry sent me this like 3-page bio. I said, man,
he put his
are you
memoir
crazy?
out
You know,
there
no.
real quick.
I wanted to make sure I had everything.
And you did. For those of you that he's been on the show before, and it's timely that I brought him on again this time. We had him talk about holiday eating, and it's one of our best shows because the timing was right. Just as people are about to eat wrong, do wrong,
Right.
be inactive, and then there was a pandemic back then. You know, it was just a horrible time. Henry, tell us more about what you do, and then we'll let you talk about your origins, and then I'd love to unleash Marcus on everybody. I can't wait. All right, here we go. Go for it. I'm done talking.
Well, thank you for having me, CJ. My name is Henry. You guys remember me last year. I'm a 17-year trainer. I've been training in all different types of circuits, and what has really grabbed my passion and my attention is nutrition, holistic nutrition, as CJ eloquently mentioned, and specifically raw food nutrition, enzymatic living nutrition. And I have a saying where it's living nutrition for living bodies. We're all living human beings. So in order for our bodies to thrive and operate at the highest level, we need living nutrition. And through this understanding, I gained my own experience losing 65 pounds in 42 days from a juice fast. And through that experience, I started to become a big advocate for raw foods and just saving lives through nutrition. Yes.
And I'm telling you, I was a witness of that. Now, your personal journey, I mean, because when I first met you, I mean, what I like is transparency. You were very transparent with me on how you got to where you got.
Yes.
You yourself, what made that change? What was going on in your life? Maybe what you were doing before. Let's rehash that for our audience.
Oh, well, I was constipated, you know, you know, as most of us are. And, you know, whether we like to admit it or not, I was very transparent with myself, and I had to face the reality that I needed to fast. And through that experience, I began to release a lot of toxins from my colon. And through that experience, I noticed a lot of fluctuations in my emotions, from irritability to highs and lows, mood swings, hot and cold flashes. Even at the young age that I was, it was just part of the symptoms that I was experiencing of fasting. So it really transformed my life.
Mm-hmm. And then how much weight, your first weight loss run at the time, which is very impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Yes.
How much weight did you lose when you first made that change transition?
I lost 65 pounds in 42 days. And this was exclusively from doing water fast, water flushes first thing in the morning, and releasing a great amount of pounds in bowels. Also juice fasting, as I mentioned earlier, and herbal teas.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. And wait, in how many days?
In 42 days. Ooh. Yes.
Wow, that's and it wasn't like you weren't weak afterwards. You were getting stronger.
Yes.
In fact, myself, AK, we were all John. We were like, what's going on with this brother? Man, what's the secret? He's on drugs. He on that crack. You know, he lifting weight and on the crack at the same time. Oh man, he was on that hydration. I mean, it was in raw foods, and we're gonna get into that a little bit because the two of you together make the complete combination of the holistic experience. Now, Marcus, brother. I mean, the peace coach, man. See, you hear this smooth voice right here? Listen, this is him all day. And I'm going to say a bad word. You can give him 10 Red Bulls, and this is him. What's up, y'all? I mean, this brother's amazing, man. Tell us about your origins. What made you change into a, like, I call us life coaches, into life, wellness, fitness coaches. And what makes you the current king of the beach in my eyes, you know? Wow. Tell us about your origins, brother. Let the people know who you are.
Okay. Marcus Cargill, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I do talk this calm pretty much all the time.
I'm jealous.
But the other side, I mean, definitely I respect the great energy, though.
Right.
Like the monologue leading up to this point, again, beautiful energy. My origin story, I think I got started, well, I got to back up a little bit. The origin story, the true origin, is just coming up from a young child. I grew up low confidence, low self-esteem, a poor self-image, a poor image of self. And fast forward, when I got into high school, I got into playing sports, organized sports. From there, it encourages you, being in those organizations, to move. So there was a space in my life where, I'm going to say around sophomore year, junior year of high school, I didn't look in the mirrors because of that poor self-image of self.
Wait, Becca, I want to stop you there for a minute because
Please.
I lived that same life. Where did your poor self? I'm curious as to where your poor self-image came from.
I think that this is to the best of my recollection. If you don't instill it strongly, proactively, life will sort of instill it, or I should say the world within life will instill it as a result. It's kind of like if you don't set goals for yourself, life will set the goals for you.
Right.
If you don't go into any type of thing with your own standard and parameters, you'll be naturally subscribing to whatever boundaries, standards, protocol is in place. So growing up, black man, there are a lot of parameters that kind of attacks the image constantly as a black man.
Do you know what my and let's talk about it because that's real too. I mean, that is real
Absolutely.
too. My parameters. Now, how old are you, sir? If you don't mind,
32.
Because you have one gray hair on your mustache. I have them all over the place, right?
That's that wisdom
That's
stripe.
with the wisdom
you know
stripe.
what I mean? The wisdom whisker.
Me growing up, and this is all a part of it. This is important because holistic is holism. So at some point, we got
Yes.
whole, and we want to share why. Me growing up, I had an inferiority complex. I didn't know I had it because everything I watched on TV, white was beautiful. We were always a joking sensation. We were minstrels, you know, even in the 70s and 80s. Or the best we had was Mr. T. Oh, pity the fool, but don't put me on an airplane. I'm like, oh man, is that the best we can do? Or we had George Jefferson, who was a millionaire, but and God bless him because he did what he had to do, legendary character. But there were still some stereotypical things about it.
Yeah.
So when I was bused to a white school, John Marshall Junior High School, I couldn't even pull my head up to look up straight because I didn't feel good about myself. Now after a few life butt kickings, that kind of changed, you know, and we're here now. Would you say you share the same experience, and that low inferiority complex also led to poor health?
Yeah.
Can you expound on that?
Absolutely. I think that's a great way of putting it, inferiority complex. And again, life, just in all areas of activity, for those kind of familiar with the power of media, the influence of media, right now, we're utilizing this media platform probably to undo a lot of what we
So glad
see
you said
in
that.
mainstream media.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So just, again, you get this image that this is how you are. And, you know, unfortunately, that's bled into the mentality of a lot of our folks as well. So I didn't go to a majority white school. It was mostly us. But the mentality was still based off of the mainstream.
Yes.
Because we haven't been doing enough in this particular area. And I grew up in Gardena. For those wondering, the city of Gardena where the grass is greener.
Hometown.
done with that.
Gardena in the house.
But as a result, again, so you grow up in this environment and, you know, love my parents. They definitely showed me love. It's just the world holds a lot of weight and a lot of influence.
Yes, it does. Yes,
so
it
you have
does.
to be really proactive about pushing against the standard that the world will provide you, because chances are the world standard will not be the standard that you will want to operate on.
That is deep. Well, let me ask you this. I'm asking you this because what I see now. Where did it change? You are walking in spaces that, and I don't mean this in a stereotypical way, we should walk the earth like we own it. But you're walking in spaces that brothers don't walk. You're on the beach daily, chilling. Like, so you're about to go surf, you do yoga on the beach, you meditate, and all people I've seen from all nationalities draw to you. That's the Jack Johnson thing that we've all been looking for. When did that change occur? And then I'm going to ask both of you, how do both of your changes relate to holistic health? And then we're going to dig into holistic health.
Yeah. I think a big portion of it started, I'm going to put some layers to it.
Layer, brother.
One
Layer,
is
my brother.
kind of growing up in a unique environment. Growing up, I recognize, okay, my situation is a little different. And I hate to even say it like this, because this is a sign that we need to continue to work on improving our communities and families and ourselves. But I grew up just off the strength of having a father. I grew up where a lot of my friends didn't have that relationship there, and I'm, I guess we can get into that if we need to.
No, please.
But
It's
I
all
just
a part of what
recognize,
makes you.
like, wow, I recognize that I'm sort of an odd man out amongst a lot of people. You know what I mean? And I recognize through that, I grew up doing more music and art as opposed to maybe sports and different things like that. So the type of personality I developed, I noticed oftentimes was different, and the things that I valued oftentimes are different. And just growing up with old school music versus a lot of the stuff in the 90s that most people were listening to. So I kind of always grew up kind of against the grain, and I never quite fit in, and I was always trying to fit in, which probably added to that complex.
Very similar.
And again, when I got into sports, that's really when I just started to own my individuality. Like, you know, this is cool, but I don't really care for the Jordans that much. They nice, but I don't care for it, even though that might have been popular. I was wearing button-ups and putting my name on it and stuff like that. That was just more my style. And again, through getting into sports, you have to work on yourself, right? So you start working out, you starting to do your cardio conditioning. I would start to eat better. And I remember walking past the mirror. Mind you, it didn't look into much, but I could see through the corner of my eye that something looked different. Wow. And I had to double back, like, who the hell? What is it? Is this me? My chest is tight, you know. And then once I saw that, that pretty much, it was that moment, being able to see myself after who knows how long. When's the last time I honestly took a good look at myself, where I really was like, wow, this is the rest of my life right here. I knew from that point on that my life was different. And so I pretty much I leaned heavily into that. Like, okay, what do I need to do to keep this going? And that's what sort of developed a love for reading, for personal development, for working on myself, because I saw the benefit from there.
Wow.
The confidence that grew as a result of that. The conversation with the ladies changed, which is a large influencer.
Wow.
And, you know, so going through those different things, it just continued on. So I didn't have much of an issue being coachable. I didn't have much of an issue wanting to go and do the work or the personal development work necessary to get better, because I saw the result right then and there.
Wow.
Versus growing up in it, I think sometimes when you grow up in it, you don't realize the profundity of certain things you do. So growing up, not doing it, and then I'm in my later years, seeing the impact that this made really, I think, gave me a little bit of edge. Like, wow, if you work on yourself, good things happen. Who would have thought?
And you know what's, it's funny that you brought that up, because your fitness trainers are not gods. Your fitness trainers, the great ones, they had great epiphanies in life.
Mm-hmm. Hero's journey.
It seems like, I love that, hero's journey. And it seems like at some point in time, fitness and wellness saved all of our lives. Mm-hmm. I can say the same thing, my brother. Mm-hmm. And hearing that, I get goosebumps. That's real. Now, I'm going to offshoot into the holistic part, because you brought up something. Mm-hmm. You talked about the music, right? Mm-hmm. You talked about how the music changed and this, that, and the other. I remember Henry in one of his first ever lectures, you know, before you guys got together. Yeah. He talked about how the water, you remember this? Yeah. Different music affects even how the water activates. Let's talk about that. And you guys are going to go, huh? And then I got y'all. It's time to talk about holistic. It's about to get heavy.
Hamstrings.
Henry, speak on that part.
Well, water is a very, very powerful substance, I should say.
Drink your water, folks.
Drink your water. I'm not advocating this particular water, but just using this as an example. Water has memory. Water has consciousness. And when you speak to your water, you can actually speak life to your water, and you can actually speak death to your water. Your words carry vibration. And so, as everybody's drinking water.
Mm-hmm. See how motivating Henry is?
See?
Mr. Picturing.
So as water carries vibration, so does sound, obviously. So adding music to your water can actually charge your water. And I used to use that tool as a method to actually increase the vibration of my water, making it more digestible and absorbable for the bottle, for the body.
Wow. And that's amazing. Now, let me ask you this. Before we move on and get deeper into you guys' relationship, I want to give your Instagram handle. Can you give your Instagram handle so people can connect with you and join your Instagram pages? Because both of these guys have amazing stuff on Instagram. Some of his workouts are just amazing. Marcus, give us your handle, and then Henry, give me yours.
Yes, you can find me at Cargill, the Peace Coach. Cargill, Cargill, the Peace Coach.
All right, Henry.
All right, you can find me at Fit Dreams on IG.
Mm-hmm. And then you also have at Taste Heaven too, also.
At Taste Heaven is the actual handle, and then I have another handle for my products called Euphoric Elixirs, at Euphoric Elixirs.
I wish you would have brought some products today, because last time you had me sampling everything.
Pizza,
and
yeah.
Woo! All right, we're going to talk about that. Now,
On point.
so, wow, what does that have to do with holism? Guys, we're showing you how we got whole, all right? So I want to know how you guys met, and then I want to give my take on what I saw in both of you guys when I saw your first presentation, and then we want to promote that, because I think this is so important how this is going to go down, and I'm glad it's back, and now we're coming out of the pandemic, and you all need to understand. And then from there, should you have questions, guys, just give us a call, 323-815-4204, or just hit us up later as you catch the recording, because, you know, sometimes one person watched, and 3 days later I wake up, there's 400 views. That's just how it goes with the podcast, and that's why I love it. So how did you guys connect in your peaks? Where did your paths cross?
You want to take that?
Okay, test my memory. Okay, hold on.
You 32, man.
I'll chime in. Yeah.
No, but what I recall, I'm 32. You know, I got hit in the head a couple times from that football life, but we'll get back to that later. YMCA, yeah. So we both come from the same YMCA, Gardena YMCA. Shout out to Miss Gwendolyn Malone, who I also have done some work here through the podcasting. Pretty much helped groom both of us in a large way. And from my perspective, it's a little bit different. He might have a different perspective, but when I came in there, everyone was like, "Do you know Henry? Are you related to Henry?" Everybody kept asking me that over and over. And I would ask, "Who the heck is Henry? Who is this cat?" And he was like, "Yeah, you know, you kind of act like him. You kind of remind me of Henry." And so I didn't recognize that there was a gentleman who had this godlike demeanor prior to me joining forces over at this YMCA. So many people would say that, a lot of the members, a lot of the staff. And so that just put it in my mind. It planted a seed, like, okay, I need to meet who this Henry guy is. So I started asking, like, okay, well, where can I find him? And I think someone said, yeah, he comes in to play basketball here sometimes. And so finally, I think he had gone on to do different things. But at this point, I'm like, all right, well, I got to run into this cat, because there's obviously something there that is meant for us to meet. That's how I took that. And finally, I think I was getting ready to leave. Somebody said he was in there playing ball. I pulled up on him, you know, and and that was it. So I chopped it up from there. One of the first times we met, not long after that, he actually gave me some paperwork. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
And that paperwork was basically how to, you know, steps towards building my own personal training business. So pretty much since I've known him, he's been putting me on game about a lot of things. So a lot of the topics and subject matter that I cover even to today and even have any understanding of, I owe this man a lot of credit for that, you know. And every once in a while when we get into our conversation, I still get mind blown. He'll hit me with something like, I start getting a hamstring cramp because I'm so like thrown off.
That's the personal training Holy Ghost, guys. So you guys don't know nothing about that. Hey, Henry, your version, man, and then let's dive into holism.
Yeah. I believe I was at the YMCA prior to Marcus being there. And as he mentioned, as I was leaving, he was coming in. And so I would hear a lot of murmurs too, like, do you know Marcus? Do you know Marcus? And I didn't know who he was, but whenever I would see him, I would see myself in him. So it was, it was, you know, I was agreeing with people, but I didn't know him. We never talked. We would just see each other in passing by. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So we finally talked. I think I saw him at Equinox, and you know, a few of my ex coworkers were there as well, and so we connected the dots and we had a few conversations, and we found where we had mutual interest, and I think that just grew our relationship from there.
Wow. Now, boom, they've come together, and now it's time to talk about where they're going and what they've been doing lately as a super unit, a super duo. We're the twins, right? Eccentric kindred spirits. Hey. You know, people have leery feelings when it comes to, holism. Is it a hoax? What is this? Some hokey stuff. I had a doctor a couple of weeks ago on the show that was more of that went from Western medicine to holistic approach to naturopath. I've had another doctor, oncologist, that also is now getting involved in that kind of stuff. And I've also talked to a holistic nutritionist, you know. So this has been an amazing, Dr. Natasha Nelson, you know her too very well. When I say the word holism and fitness, what does that mean to you guys? How would you tell that to our public? Is it just more push-ups or burpees? What's going on? I feel good after some burpees. Tell us about that.
Well, that kind of goes into what we do. We have 4 quadrants that we discuss in the holistic health experience. We start with the body,
right,
mind, the spirit, and the soul. And I feel like all components add to the whole. And when one is out of balance, it throws everything off balance as well. So we need all 4 of those quadrants in harmony to be whole. So that's my view.
And in your view, sir, holistic?
Yeah, I would have to agree. That pretty much sums it all up. The mind, body, spirit, and soul, knowing that they all are in constant play with one another. So recognizing what is it that you need to do to work on these areas,
When I saw your first presentation, and that was, it had to have been like 2 years ago, your first one.
Yeah.
I was there, and then my passion protector, my wife, Eva Joseph, was there. And I think she'd gone to 3 of yours because she just was like stuck on it, That way I knew it was a winner there. But both of you all together, your game was perfection. And the crowds that you had, they were from all diverse backgrounds. People were literally showing up over time, all work lives, wealth. I was like, it's just amazing. And some of the things that you were bringing up were just amazing on the human psyche when the approach to wellness and fitness. Can you guys go on at least some of the points that you guys are going to go over on your next upcoming event? I mean, I know our people would love to get a taste. Excuse my pun, taste. A taste of that. Tell us what someone could expect individually coming to you guys as your training methods, but also together as a unit, talking about the holistic experience.
That's you.
Okay. As far as what to expect from a training standpoint, and then I'll go into a togetherness standpoint, pretty much how the same way we approach everything about life, that usually goes right into my training philosophy. So sort of like even with the peace coaching and with the holistic health experience, my approach to working with a lot of people, and it started even back in the YMCA days, I would work with people. And generally, most people I think know training sessions last for about an hour. But there's the other 23 hours. So I started having a conversation with a lot of clients about there's the hour that we're here, and then I call it the other 23. That other 23 hours is full of all kinds of things that we need to work on so that you can get more out of that 1 hour. And vice versa, that 1 hour helping to lead to a more productive 23. And from that, I would start asking the question, okay, well, what else is going on in your life so that we can work on sharpening that up? Sometimes you can be exercising, but everything else can still be in shambles.
Yes.
So if we can work on building some tools to improve those other 23 hours, we can get more, here it is, peace into your life.
You spoke of 23 hours and peace. In your history of training, what are some of the biggest obstacles that are commonality in all of your clients? You guys heard me speak about mine as a trainer. What are some of the obstacles that you're encountering with some of your clients that you've had breakthroughs with?
Not taking care of ourselves. Okay. And I'm saying that also as my own self personally. We don't put the same attention into taking care of ourselves as we do everything else. What usually takes on the priority over everything else for most people, even though a lot of people would probably say family, work ends up taking more of a hit. In my humble experience and humble opinion, work takes over everything. Okay. So I start having the conversation that you're more important than work. And what I mean by that is, obviously, yes, work may have to be done and is important, but if you're not giving yourself that same attention, it's going to be short term.
Yes.
And then it's going to have a huge impact on your health.
Man, that's incredible. Henry, how about you? I mean, I know I've watched your work, but I need you to tell our audience, what do you encounter? What are some of the obstacles that you encounter first off before we break these molds?
Well, the biggest one, of course, is going to be food. People falling into emotional eating. We live in a very stressful world, and so that can often cause people to to lead towards emotional eating, eating based on how they're feeling in the moment, as opposed to eating for nourishment. So that's the biggest obstacle for most of my clients, and just keeping them aware of their emotions in the moment, and just allowing them, or positioning them to make better decisions in those moments.
And in you guys' opinion, you guys are the experts. How big is not just work stress, but emotional stress to a person's success to that path to wellness? How big is that an obstacle in your experience?
Huge. We all know of hormones, right? And specifically the stress hormone cortisol. We know that cortisol is heavily released when the body is under stress, and that can lead to increased inflammation and decreased immunity, and it just goes on from there. And so, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Yes.
How about you, Marcus?
I would agree. Yeah. As far as the stress hormone, cortisol, once that's released, you're in a state of fight or flight. Once you're in a state of fight or flight, imagine if you were running from a grizzly bear, you know what I mean, at full speed. So, but you're operating in that not for a brief period of time like it would happen in nature, but all the time.
Right.
So that ultimately it's like a low grade degradation, or in this case, I suppose, an accelerated disintegration of you. So that's going to be it's going to consume you to the point that you can't really focus on thinking logically. You can't think far ahead, and it impacts everything. Yeah. I think a lot of us are in a state of fight or flight, which is why we're having difficulty with sleep, immune systems, especially during this whole pandemic season. And then even the way that is advertised nowadays, not to take away the validity of anything, but for those of you who have been taking time to take a look at what the media maybe talks about during this pandemic season, how frequently are you seeing conversations on here's how we can eat healthier, here's how we can exercise? I see the vaccines and but I'm not seeing, hey, eat more salads. I'm not seeing drink more water. I'm not seeing move more.
Wow.
So it makes me raise an eyebrow a little bit as far as what we can do to improve our.
That's a good point. And I think, how long do you remember when Let's Move? Remember Let's Move?
Yes.
Since that was gone, you're right. I haven't heard any major promotion of any wellness organization or wellness thing or the new thing. And I don't pimp The Biggest Loser. I have my issues with that show, but the idea was somehow to promote health.
Right.
We don't have any of that anymore. That is a excellent point. And I like what you talked about cortisol. Cortisol is a good thing. I mean, in my boat, but it's not, like you said, it's not meant to be